I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. Part 2 of the HTC One S Nokia Lumia 900 Dogfight starts right now, but before we get into it, special thanks to Best Buy Mobile for providing us with phones like this for use in our one-pawed bandit game, which we turn around and give to you on the site. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile, you're not going to deal with paperwork or rebates or waiting 8 to 10 weeks. At Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out paying the after rebate price. Here we go, One S Lumia 900. It's part 2, and it starts right now. Part 2, also known as Part Dos of the HTC One S versus Nokia Lumia 900 Dogfight, and really, there are benefits to both of these devices in all honesty. I say that in a lot of the dogfights, but it's really true. It depends on what you want. And if you hit me on Twitter and you're like, which one of these is the best? I'm probably not going to give you an answer because I don't know what your use patterns are. So, unfortunately this dogfight is kind of a mainstream dogfight, but you know what? I may declare one of these the winner. The other device may be the better one for you, so it all depends on your usage habits and what you like the most. So that caveat aside, let's take a look at the browser on both of these devices. HSPA plus 42 over here. So if you're in a T-Mobile market that supports HSPA plus 42 megabits per second, you got it over on the HTC One S. 4G LTE on AT&T over on this device with HSPA plus as a backhaul. So at least from a connectivity standpoint, this is the more connected device. You've got 4G LTE over here, so if you're in a market like Charlotte that's LTE capable, you can take advantage of that. When you leave those areas, you got HSPA plus as a backhaul, and then after that, you have HSPA, and then after that, you have Edge. So you got a couple of different connectivity options over here. So PhoneDog on both of these devices loaded up, and we can take a look at some of the browser differences. First of all, you'll notice that the browser bar is up at the top on the One S, down at the bottom on the Lumia 900. You're going to see transition effects incredibly fluid over here. This is one benefit of Windows Phone. The downside is no flash support. So if that's something that's important to you, steer away from the Lumia 900, at least for now. There's no flash support, but on the flip side, it makes transitions incredibly fast. So you can see, a great web browsing device, and it's a moderate sized display, so you can see 4.3, relatively decent for most stuff. Browsing the web, watching music videos, doing things like that. And then down here, you can access your tabs, and you can see the best phone news, which is us, obviously. Of course, we're the best phone news. And then over here, you can flip right back. But I can't get over, transition effects nice and fast, and even in that little bit of a lag, there's a nice transition that makes it seem as if it's faster than it really is. No slouch over here either. One S is actually one of the best Android-based browsers that I've used in some time. Very impressive for an Android device. Android historically for me has kind of lagged in the browser department. This is, again, not taking into consideration any ROMs or rooting or anything. I'm talking about stock Android out of the gate has historically been kind of laggy for me on a lot of the devices I've worked with. The S4 is definitely a trooper in the processor department. Incredible processor, which we'll talk more about in the speed test in just a minute. But you can, of course, enable flash, and you can do a lot of cool things in here. View desktop site, which this is already the desktop site, so that wouldn't matter as much. But when you get up to the top, you can go up over here and click tabs and scroll back and forth. I like my train of thought here. PhoneDog, Pinkberry frozen yogurt, more PhoneDog. I hope that's your train of thought as well. PhoneDog in the morning, yogurt for lunch and dinner, PhoneDog at night. That's what I like to see. But both are pretty excellent in the browsing department. I'm going to give a slight edge to the One S just because of the flash capabilities. Obviously, that's something I still use on a regular basis, and I would imagine you probably do as well. Flash or HTML5 or some sort of option in that department. Let's talk a little bit about speed test as well, and actually let's go into that so you can get an idea here of what, and let me see if I have bandwidth. I don't have bandwidth pre-installed over on the Lumia 900 because I did a software wipe, and unfortunately it is no longer available in the Windows Marketplace, at least the last time I checked. But we can look at T-Mobile speeds here. 4G, HSPA plus, it's reasonably fast in most cases. I am in Uptown Charlotte in my office right now, and it is kind of rush hour, so keep that in mind. And I say that a lot in these videos, but I usually shoot these videos during rush hour, so there's really no other solution I can offer you there, sorry. But it worked pretty impressively well with AT&T's HSPA plus, with T-Mobile's obviously, which is what comes with it out of the gate. Not too bad. Ping's a little really bad right there. That's not a good indicator, but I've seen speeds as fast as 10, 11 megabits per second in the Charlotte area. We're not exactly the mecca. Oddly enough, we get quite a bit of advancement in the wireless technology, but for whatever reason, like LTE on AT&T isn't that fast. So we get LTE before a lot of markets, but it's never really fast. I don't know if it's a train issue. Still trying to figure that one out. After all my years in wireless, it's still very odd to me. But anyway, I've seen speeds as fast as 10 and 11. In other markets, when I'm traveling for business, I've seen it as fast as 20 to 25 megabits per second. So it can be pretty fast and pretty impressive at that. So let's load up Quadrant Standard as well. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna run Quadrant Standard over here on the One S. I'm gonna see what we can find. I'm gonna try to do two things at once. So we're gonna run Quadrant Standard over there. This may fail miserably, but that's okay. You can just dislike the video and, I don't know, watch something else. like my Galaxy S3 Roundup or something. But you can see here, here's the market, and you get a couple of different options out of the gate. It's a Nokia device, so you get kind of like exclusive markets within the market, if you will. You get AT&T stuff, you get Nokia stuff. Come in here, for example, and you can see Nokia, and you'll get a couple of different free applications. This is really what makes this device as awesome as it is, because obviously the price point's pretty cool, the LTE is pretty cool. What I love about this, I can come down here and get Nokia Drive and Nokia Maps for free. Drive is a killer application. Absolutely love Drive. It's great because that's always been my gripe about Windows Phone. There's no real good navigation tool. There's no real good. That's terrible English. There's no great navigation tool. That's pretty bad, but you know what? I'm going to run with it because it's Tuesday and I'm just going to run with it. Nokia Drive's downloading now. You can see AT&T's LTE is reasonably fast based on this app download right here, but Drive is a pretty impressive application because it takes Bing, or Bing Maps, if you will, to the next level, and it's free. So obviously you get the Lumia 900. You can take advantage of applications like Drive, Maps, Transit, and really it's a good software portfolio. So while we're waiting for this to load, 5,130 on Quadrant Standard on the HTC One S. So Drive, really impressive. So out of the Windows phones, just comparing apples to apples, the fact that these Nokia applications come for free and then you get like CNN and ESPN, really nice value proposition considering this device is still $100. So we'll load this up and see if we can get it to run. Let's do this a little bit later, which I have a feeling. Okay, so here we go. Look and feel, very similar. They acquired Navtech a couple of years ago, so you can see what it looks like. You can put it in 2D or 3D mode, set destination, you can change your settings, and do all this stuff. Change your navigation voice, put your speed limit on, so it'll alert you when you're speeding, and that is that. So you can see, again, a nice little setup here, and then you have Bing Maps as well, which comes with every Windows phone. And you get a couple of different options here. We'll zoom out here so you can see the Beltway. And you can come out here and see Clear Map, show traffic, favorite places, aerial view on, and you can do other things, directions. We can find me if you want to, and then that scout thing that I was talking about where it pops up right here in part 1. You can see all the cool places to eat and drink that are nearby to me. So that's pretty cool. 5,130 over here as well. And one of my favorite features, two things keep me going back to Android. I mean, we all have things we love and hate about mobile platforms. The two winners, in my opinion, on Android, Gmail and Maps. Gmail's absolutely fantastic. We use Gmail as a backend for all of our phone dog stuff, and then of course I have 97,000 Gmail accounts, and I use it as my backhaul for my personal accounts as well. So we'll go in here, for example, and you can see this has changed as a result of Ice Cream Sandwich. It's got a new look and feel. You'll see that the header stays at the top. Actually, you won't see that the header stays at the top because that one does not move. But let's do this, for example. Go to previously read, and you can see, go into this one from Nick, for example, and you can see that it stays at the top. So when I scroll up and down, I can easily reply. I've got these 3 dots, which basically think of it as a right click on Android or on an Ice Cream Sandwich. Reply and forward. And I can go down here and see all of my little shortcuts. I can trash. I can see my labels. Mark on red. And then I have my menu over here. So it's pretty robust. It's a nice solution. But where this device really pulls ahead, in my opinion, HTC's done a killer job with this. Excuse me. Still trying to recover from a cold. They've done a fantastic job with this, their personal information management. So we'll go down to Stephen Williams, for example, and you can see kind of an Ice Cream Sandwich look and feel here. Some Sense customizations, not nearly as crazy as previous versions of Sense, but you got your menu options over here, your big picture, Ice Cream Sandwich style, your mobile, your mail, your organization, a lot of different options here. But not just that, I can go down here to the bottom and see, hey, when did I last call Stephen? When did I last hang out or provide an update? Do I have any pictures with him tagged? When do we make some phone calls, call history, how long were those calls? It's just a great, well-rounded. I use this when I'm working with an HTC device or I'm using it as my personal device. I use this like 10 times a day. And it's huge because I'm like, when did I last text John Doe? And it's right there in the contacts area. So that's a really nice thing. I love that. You don't get that quite over here, but you do get some nice touches. The People Hub is pretty impressive, and you'll see the tiles are flipping out over here. I carried this device for 30 days as part of a challenge. Absolutely loved it. Definitely one of the better Windows Phone options on the market. It's cheap too. That's what I love about it. $100 is not bad for a device of this caliber. You'd expect this to be like $200, keeping all the specs on par with other devices on the market. But you got your history over here, so you do get a basic history update in the People Hub. But where the People Hub really wins, you can see your Twitter stuff from the People Hub. You can see your frequent callers. So, if I was actually using this device right now as my personal device, which I'm not, if I called Sam all the time, I could actually scroll to the left and I would see Sam's contact card right here, along with other people that I text or call on a regular basis. So it's really a well-rounded organized look and feel. And then over here you can see I have some S contacts in T, and I have all these other ones that are grayed out. That means that I have no contacts with those letters that start with those letters. So that's a cool little aesthetic touch there that the People Hub has that the Android device, the One S, does not have. So last but not least, let's take a look at the camera on both of these devices. 8 megapixel camera on both, 1080p HD video recording over here, 720p over on the Lumia 900. We're going to take a picture of this pen. I hate doing this, but I actually don't have any phones over here. And I want to focus on text as well. Killer camera over here. Took a picture of my cat, actually. And you can see there's Mittens, and you can see what that looks like. Beautiful picture, and this is actually a picture that I took. I'm going to show you how it works in just a second. For example, we'll wait for the text to focus in here. And then when I take the pictures, let me make sure the sound's on so you can hear this. It sounds like a little machine gun. This is burst mode, so I can let go. It shows me all those pictures I just took. I can find the best one. I can say, hey, that looks like the best one. I can say best shot, and I can either save or delete all of the other ones. So we can have best shot can be saved, delete the rest of the images. Yeah, we're going to delete that. And then we'll go back and see that that one is stored. Likewise, this is great if you're ever watching a sports game or you're doing something like that. You can easily see, for example, camera. Let's say I'm shooting my daughter. I actually don't have a daughter. A lot of people think I have a daughter based on past times I've said this on camera. But let's just say hypothetically I have a daughter. I'm shooting her soccer game, and all of a sudden I want to take some stills. Well, I can take some stills, and you can see them in the lower right-hand corner here, taking still pictures as I'm recording the video. When I'm done, I've got my stills and my videos. So that's a win-win. Killer camera over here. This is the first camera I've ever used on any device that, in my opinion, is better than the iPhone 4S, 4 and 4S. So a very impressive camera over here, but more particularly the 4S because it has an 8 megapixel camera. But incredible over here. The only thing I wish Android had out of the gate was the ability to resize the pictures prior to sending them. That's a huge one I use on a daily basis, and I don't want a 2 megapixel picture coming through on a regular basis. So you can see here, 8 megapixel camera, Carl Zeiss optics over here, half press to focus in, full press to take a picture. Love the fact that it has a physical camera button. And then I have easy access to the gallery. So from a user interface perspective, I like this one a little bit better. From a camera perspective, the One S is definitely top notch. Battery life as well, about the same, a little bit better on the One S just because HSPA Plus is not as much of a battery hog as LTE. 1,830 milliamp hour battery on the Lumia, 1,650 over here on the One S. I'm able to make it through the day with both. I was surprised at how good it was in the Lumia. That said, I do eke out a little bit more on the One S with my personal use. Moderate use, texting, calling, emailing, browsing the web, the One S is here. Also, I'm really impressed with the standby times over on the One S as well. I've left this for several days on my desk, turned it back on, and seen minimal drain in the battery department. So pretty impressive there. Both of these devices charge relatively quickly. I give a slight edge to the One S in terms of charging time though. So both of these are good devices. They're both pretty decent in reception. I've taken them to their respective dead spots. AT&T has a dead spot that I tested in South Charlotte. I get this mixed up every single time. South Charlotte here, West Charlotte over on the T-Mobile side. And both worked relatively well. It was choppy, it was hard to hear, but they both made it through unscathed. So it's a dogfight. One of these has to win, and I'd love to spend all the time in the world talking about more of the features, but at the end of the day, got to give the gold medal to one, and the winner is the HTC One S. Now again, it's really going to depend on what you use your device for. This to me is the better all-around device. It's got a killer camera. Love the build quality here. Not to say polycarbonate's bad by any means, but love the build quality. Decent battery life, maybe a little bit small, but decent. The Beats audio, which I wasn't even able to touch on, is actually a pretty cool feature, even though they don't provide Beats headphones out of the gate, which that's not so cool. But love this device all around. S4 processor, incredibly fast. And then over here you get a great value proposition. $100 gets you a nice smartphone with a polycarbonate shell. Some really impressive features here as well. LTE for $100, you can't really go wrong. So I think it's going to depend on A, whether you're switching carriers or what you're looking for. B, if you like Windows Phone or Android, and C, how much money you want to spend. But all around, the One S is the winner. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with the One S and with the Lumia 900, so keep it locked on the site for continuing coverage. Fight, 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 fight. You love one, you hate one, you think I'm crazy, you think the Lumia is the best phone, you think I'm stupid because I didn't do something, something, something on one of these phones. Let me know on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Hit us up on Google Plus as well, gplus.to/PhoneDog, and as always, vote for your favorite in PhoneDog's official smartphone rankings at PhoneDog.com/rankings. Thanks for watching. Keep it locked on site. More dogfights to come in this crazy summer of smartphones. I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. We'll see you next time.